Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Tuesday, November 12th. It is 6:23 right now. Market's gonna open in about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, looks like we are good to go here. Links being sent out. All right, perfect. So as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. Start the daily time frame. I'm going to the 4 hour. Going down to the 1 hour. Going down to the 30 minute. On down to the 1 minute. And it looks like we are good to go here. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, November 12th. It is 6:26 right now. Market's going to open in about 3 minutes. So we've got liquidity marked up here. Closest level of liquidity above is at 44,518. Closest level of liquidity below is currently at, this one's going to get triggered. Well, it already got triggered, so this one's pretty much done with. Lowest one down here is currently at 44,368. So we've got liquidity here marked up, and it looks like we are good to go. So let's see who's here. Let's see who's here. So for morning, Jonathan. Morning, Nice. Morning, CJ. Morning, Lila. Morning, Tyron. Morning, everybody. So guys, I'm making a small adjustment to the breakout entry. You don't need to follow this adjustment. It's just I'm going to be using it so that we can improve on the win ratio. So I'm just adding a confluence to it. Nothing crazy. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. I'm just adding another confluence. There's going to be less trades for the breakout, but the win rate's going to go up tremendously. So as you see, have you seen for the past couple of weeks, we've had a lot of break-even weeks or even like a net loss week for the breakout. I'm just using the daily candle as a confluence now to determine if I'm going to take the entry or not. So just a heads up. So I'll let you guys know if I'm taking the entry or not. Um, and we'll go from there. So I'm just using the daily as a confluence, but looking at it right now, it's not looking like we're going to have entry for the breakout. If you guys want to take it, you can still take it, but I just need to improve on the win ratio because of the break evens that we've been having for the past couple of weeks. Like it's not a horrible like the stats aren't horrible, but they're not great either. I'm trying to yield a profit every month, and if we're having like break even or net loss weeks, week after week, it's not going to yield a profit long term. So, or I mean, it'll yield a profit long term, but it's not going to yield a profit for the month. That's kind of like the issue that I'm running into right now with the breakout. So looking at the breakout here, the breakout for today is going to be a sell. I'm not going to be taking it because it doesn't meet my criteria. Adding this confluence to the strategy improved the win ratio to about 75 to 80%. So it's a pretty big jump. I think it's about 10% higher than what it's currently at. It's like about 65 to 68. So with including this confluence, I'm going to be taking less trades, but also going to lose less trades as well. ATR is pretty low right now. It's currently 12 ATR. Again, if you guys want to take the entry for the breakout for today is going to be a sell, but I'm not going to be taking it because it doesn't meet my criteria here using my confluence. Because I do see that the daily over here is bullish and the entry here is opposite. It's going to be a sell. So if you guys want to take it, feel free to take it. Otherwise, I'm not going to be taking the breakout for today. I'll be looking for some scalps though. So let's see what we got here. And the reason why I'm making some changes here is because a lot of this post-election manipulation. So there's actually two different entries that you can take here. This would actually be a buy, actually, if you're using the confluence, but in the other fashion. There's like two different ways to apply the breakout. Instead of me having like variations to the breakout, I'm just not going to explain the breakout because the breakout's going to change as I adapt to the market. The main thing right here is that I'm not going to be taking trades unless they align with the daily candle. So the daily candle is bullish here. The entry for the breakout would be for a sell. And it just doesn't meet my criteria. See how far it pushed up from here. Market opened right here. Seems a good thing I didn't take it. Because if I take the sell here, it would have been a loss. But I found a way to flip it. So I'll call out the breakouts in the morning. But if I'm not taking it, then obviously I'll tell you that I'm not taking it. So like today, I said I'm not going to take the breakout because it didn't align with the daily candle here or the daily momentum. So looking at this over here, the daily momentum lined up with the buy signal here. So bullish or buy. And instead of taking the sell here, the buy here would have been the proper direction. So no breakout for today, guys. We will continue to look for some scalps here, though. So it looks like today's kind of flat. Let me check the calendar for the day. I think there's news today. So we have Fed Waller speaking at 7 o'clock. We have TIPP economic optimism at 7:10. Fed Barkin speaking at 7:15. Treasury at 7:30. So 7, 7:10, 7:15, 7:30. They're all kind of low impact news events, though. So I will be looking for some scalps here, though. All right, let me turn off my hedge laptop. No breakout for me today. And I'll start looking at some scalps here. So scalp entry is technically going to be right over here at the 500 mark right now currently. All right, so I don't see anything here yet. If you guys took liquidity, the first two levels of liquidity right here got hit. So a full TP right there and a full TP right there. So these liquidities are pretty much. So here's another thing that you can look for here. I don't like trading counter trend, but this looks like it's going to be a fake out. So if this candle here closes red, I'm expecting this to come back down to the opening price down here. If this closes below this level, I don't like trading against the trend, so I'm not going to take any trades opposite. I'll look for a V1 variation or a CB pattern the other way. So I'll look for price to come down, and I'll look for it to come back up. And I'll look for entry somewhere down here like a market flow V2. I don't typically trade against the trend unless the market is consolidating. Right now, it's not really consolidating. I mean, it's still going directional. So if you want to take a market flow V2, guys, entry for market flow V2 is going to be right here at the 510 mark. Let's see, 510. I'm not going to put an order there, but I'm not set one up just in case price does come down a little lower. Let's see, Daniel's asking, do you know what caused the big spike at 520? No idea. Let's check CNBC real quick. I know there was earnings released, so that might have been it. There's some live news over here. The only breaking news here, it just says stocks are a little change as post-election rally takes a pause. Yeah, so not really much there. So I'm not in the position right here, guys. I was going to set up the entry, but we do have the pending sell signal here. So obviously I'm not going to look to take it. I'm going to look for a V1 variation. So I'm going to look for a double. Okay, so there's a V1 variation setting up right here. If this candle closes green, this is going to be a V1 variation back to the upside. So the markup that I showed you guys earlier, I said if this candle closes red below the below this high low, then it's likely to push back down to the opening price, and that's exactly what happened here. So I'm just looking at the price action here. I already had an idea this was going to happen. Now I'm going to look for the correction back up. So this thing played out perfect, like I said. I said if this red candle, if this pushes up and it comes back down like that, it's going to fake out, pull right back down to the opening price, which is what happened here. What I'm looking for here next is I'm looking for a correction back to the upside. So now I'm looking for a V1 variation or a CB pattern right here for price to come up. If this candle closes green, this could be a possible V1 variation pattern. The candle is a little small, so I'm not sure how it's going to close. It's not looking like it's going to be a V1 variation. So there's no double body, double wick there. There's no reversal pattern at this point. Yeah. So no entries here yet. The volatility is a little low, but I will be looking for some scalps here. But yeah, Daniel, looking at the news from today, there wasn't really any breaking news at 520. I think the only thing that could have happened was that there was earnings. Okay, yeah, so there was earnings right here before the bell. Biggest stocks making biggest moves before the bell. Shopify, Home Depot. Home Depot's, I believe, is part of YM. So it might be here because it says shares for Home Depot rose 1.7%. Shopify is not. This is part of NASDAQ. And I think that's about it for the most part. Let me see if there's any other lists, any other that are listed here. So I know, oh, actually I can't. So I can't see it here, but for the most part, Home Depot, I believe, is part of YM. And then also JP Morgan here. So I think it's just because of the earnings that were released before the bell. So it said 520. or it showed 520. So that looks like that would have been the time that would have came up. The spike came up about almost 100 points. All right, so if this candle here closes green, this is going to be a V1 variation pattern. We'll be taking this here. Take it for 30-30, but I will, obviously my trailing stop will follow through with it. So this candle's got about 15 seconds left on. The candle has to close green. Got about 10 seconds left on this candle here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So entry wasn't the best, but it'll do.
Order submitted.
All right. So let's see, this is pushing in profit right here. See if my trailing stop works this time. All right, trailing stops moved in profit right there. Gonna aim a little higher for the full TP, 35. All right, full TP right there, guys. So I got that for 30 points. Took that V1 variation. Solid entry right there, locked in 1,500. Solid. All right. I'll just update these later. Just take a quick screenshot of that. So quick V1 variation right there, full TP, guys. I'll keep looking for the next entry here. So if you guys didn't sit in on the session yesterday, like I mentioned, I'm going to be taking pretty much all the scalps that I see here on taking all the scalps that I see here on my Apex accounts. You know, we'll keep ourselves more engaged in the market, looking at all these scalps versus kind of just waiting around, not doing anything. So there goes my first trade for the day. Looking for the next entry here. All right, so I took the V1 variation right there, hit full TP for 30 points. Here is my profit, locked in 1,500 per account. So pretty solid so far. Keep looking for the next entry here. CJ said the pivot scalp setup is playing with me, LOL. Yeah, I know. I just saw it keeps coming up. For me personally, I would probably hold off on the pivot scalp. I'd wait for like a breakout V3 continuation. I mean, you can take pivot scalp if you want, but the pivot scalp has been playing also with me lately, where you know, I end up getting in a little too late, getting in a little too early. It's just the pivot scalp is a good entry when it's smooth. Well, I like the pivot scalp when it comes up as a triple confluence. Like in that situation, okay, I'll take it. But pivot scalp by itself, it's kind of tricky because it flickers, right? It'll come up, you know, like at the last second, it'll come down. Like this right here. I'm pretty sure it's been coming up since this candle right here, right, CJ? The 639 candle came up. It's like gotcha. It's like a little whack-a-mole. You got like this right here. It'll come up, disappear, come up, disappear, come up, disappear. Same with this one right here. This one will probably come up again, but I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see if this one actually closes. It's having trouble getting past these wicks though. So I'm not going to take this as a pivot scalp. I'll wait for a breakout V3 continuation after it. And you can see right there, it just disappeared again. So it actually closed this time. If this candle closes green, this is going to be a breakout V3 continuation. Sorry, guys. Hey, Kai, shut up. Both of you guys be quiet. Kodi Kai. Dude, man, dogs are so freaking, especially Cody. Okay. All right, everything up here. All right, buddy. Well, you guys gotta chill out. I'm live right now. All right, so we have possible breakout V3 continuation that is setting up right here right now. It's kind of close stronger. I don't like it when it closes like this where it's not very strong. If you guys want to take it, feel free. Actually, let's see. No, I'm not going to take it. So I don't like when it closes like that where it's not very strong. What I'll do is I could probably set a buy stop right here if it swings back up. No, that was actually a good idea. I didn't take that. Leave it as is right now. All right, put a buy stop right there. Let's see what we got here. Not in this position. I was trying to take, I'll put a buy stop right there. So if it comes back up, it'll fill it. I was going to take the breakout V3 continuation. The only thing with this here is that it was, and I'll probably cancel it. It was like this green candle right here wasn't closing very strong. It was like a pretty weak candle. And that's why I didn't decide to take it right there. If you want to take a market flow V2, there's actually an entry right here. It just came up at the 530 mark. But there is a sell signal that is pending. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cancel this. This price is already too low.
Order canceled.
And we do have the pending sell signal right here. So I'm going to wait. I want the sell signal here to close so we can confirm the retracement. And then I will be looking for possible V1 variation again from the downside. So we actually have more liquidity hanging out right there. So we're currently in a range. Now that we kind of have market structure here, I can see we're in a range. The best entries to use during a market like this is going to be V1 variations and CV patterns. You know, we talked about this before in the playbook, basically. When the market's moving sideways, there's about 3 strategies you want to look for. V1 variations, CV patterns, and high-low momentum scalps. We're currently in a range right now. Price is ranging back and forth between this area. Ideally, I would be looking for some buys here. So this could be a possible CV pattern right here if this ends up closing. We have a low here, big red candle. If we get a smaller green candle here, it's got to be smaller. It can't be bigger than this red candle right here. So we have a possible CV pattern here setting up. You're looking to take this here. If it closes properly, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There goes the entry. The entry wasn't great. So this is where the entry should have been. That's all right.
Order submitted.
Volatility is picking up a little bit. So I'll leave it as is right there. Just let it kind of play through. This is a CV pattern. So right here, we had a low with the red candle. We had a sell signal. We had a smaller green candle right here. It's basically like an inverted engulfing candle. So what I'm hoping for here is I'm looking for price to push up, hoping for a buy signal to come up, and then from there push up higher. If this here stops me out, it's fine. I also did get good entries, so my stop loss is a little tighter than where it should be. It should be a little lower down here. But because I got bad entry here, I might get caught in this. So it's bouncing off opening price. And it stopped me out. Or not, didn't. Okay, now it stopped me out. All right, I'm back at break even for the day. Unfortunately. So back at break even, had a win, then I had a loss right here. Man, I'm really tired of this market. I was hoping that we'd have a directional market. We had direction last week just for elections, and then now we're back into this choppy market. I mean, it is what it is. We can't do anything about the market. So we're back in this chop again that we were really hoping, once Trump wins, we'd be out of this chop, but it looks like we're still back in this chop here. So breaking for the day, guys, no breakout for me. I took one entry earlier, which was a buy for a V1 variation. That was a win. And I took this loss over here, which was a CD pattern. And now we just got to wait for some direction here. So we got some liquidity sitting down here. See where this ends up going. All right, so we're currently at the liquidity right here. What I'm going to look for here is I'm going to look for price to break and close past it, and I'm going to look for a fake out. So I'm going to look for a high-low scalp type setup, and then I'm going to look for a fake out back up because that's kind of what I'm expecting to happen here if price does come below it. So I have this setup right here. I'm looking for this candle to break and close below it, just like it happened up here earlier, right? You guys remember the fake out that happened right here. So I'm looking for that same pattern. Looking for price to break past it, close, and then come right back opposite of it for it to swing right back up. So I'm going to leave this line right here. I'm going to leave the line there so that we can kind of see that happen. There's also a high-low scalp entry right there as well. But I'm not going to use that one, of course, because it didn't fake out right away. I need to see the fake out happen right away, just like it happened right here. I need to break and close past it. The following candle needs to fake out right back into it. I mean, it looks like we're just in this big range. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this line right here to identify this high-low point. And then from this point right here, I'm gonna look for it to fake out and then pull back into the range, of course. Ah, man, I just don't like I don't really like trading in a sideways market. I don't mind trading in a sideways market, but I don't like trading in a sideways market because there's just a lot of uncertainty. So right here, the range is actually up here. Price looks like it may fake out down here and swing right back up. So that's what I'm looking for right here as well. I'm looking for this to break and close below this blue line. I'm looking for it to, once it does that, I'm gonna look for it to fake out right back up. So I want it to come down, fake out, come right back up. It just needs to actually close below it to confirm that fake out. So again, like I was saying, I don't really like trading against the trend, guys. The overall trend is still bullish. So you can see over here from the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, and then all the higher time frames right here. It's all pretty much bullish for the most part. So I do see this correcting back up at some point. So overall direction over here is very bullish. It's just the 1 minute here is like kind of faking out a little bit. So again, I'm looking for this here to fake out. Looks like it's going to possibly here. There is another level right here too. So if this doesn't fake out, this may push down lower. So basically what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to react to this specific structure. So one of two scenarios will happen here. Either this will fake out and swing back up, or this is going to continue and then go for the sessions right here. And then if it continues to drop even lower from there, down here. It's a big drop right now. Let's see if there's any updates over here with CNBC. There's no updates. There's no catalyst really pushing price around. We have news at 7 o'clock. It's low impact though, not one that I expect to push price around. We got Fed Waller speaking at 7 o'clock. Okay, so like I said earlier, there's two different scenarios here that can play out. Price is either going to fake out and swing back up. At this point, I can't really make a judgment on like what's going to happen next because there's two scenarios here. One scenario is price comes down and retests the sessions. That's kind of where I'm expecting price to go. I'm gonna use the sessions again over here as well as another structure to look for the fake out, right? So I'm gonna look for the same pattern that I was looking for up here, but now at the sessions. I'm gonna take off these lines here because these high lows are no longer useful for us. Price is now below it. So again, I'm gonna look for the same thing here. I'm either gonna look for a bounce off it, or I'm gonna look for price to actually break below it and fake out, or I'm gonna look for price to break below it, retest, and come back lower, right? There's just a lot of different scenarios here that can play out. Ideally, I'm looking for price to look for some sort of bounce and then swing back up. The 1 minute's bearish right now, or it's attempting to be bearish. The 5 minute shifting below the pivots. The 10 minute over here is currently at the final pivot. The 1 hour, 4 hour daily are still very bullish. So we'll see what happens here if it swings up from this point. Either way, there's no entries for me to take here at this moment. If you guys are looking to take some market flow V2s, there could be a possibility of market flow V2. Let's see, around the 70 mark right now. It's a little high, but that is where the market flow V2 is currently sitting. Or if you want to take a MPS entry is going to happen right here at the 450 mark. So like I said, all these strategies are pretty much the same. We talked about this before. The MPS and the market flow V2 are pretty much the same strategy. The only difference with it is that one of them is entry a little farther back, closer to the pivots, and one of them is closer to where price is currently sitting. So yeah, Barack said nice triples that are missing the momentum at break. Barack said I missed them, but they won't come in a ranging market. And if they come, they won't be profitable if it's not a quick TP. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Barack, 100%. We're just not in a directional market right now. I mean, it's pulling right back up. So the fake out happened right here off this whole number. So price pretty much dropped below the 450, faked out, and it's swinging back up right there. Again, if you're looking to take an entry here, the market flow V2 did not fill yet. So the entry is right here at the 70 mark, the 470 mark. We got the Fed speaking right here at 7 o'clock. Entry is actually now at the 60 mark. So if anybody's looking to take market flow V2, it's going to be right here at the 60. Let's see, I'll put a pending order right there at the 60. It looks like it might have filled already
Order submitted.
on this specific candle, but there's still opportunity here for entry. So I put my pending order right there at the 60 mark. Market looks like it's pretty much just completely flat now at this point. Yeah, so it looks like this might have gotten filled on the previous candle right here. Not on this one, but on the previous one right here. And it looks like it's coming right back down to its TP. So does not look like this one's going to fill. Probably going to cancel my order pretty soon because this thing is moving lower to the 50 right here. Yeah, it looks like it might have filled right here on the previous one. That would have been a nice entry. It's all good. It happened too quickly. I didn't really spot it until it happened right here, until this candle came up. But yeah, that would have been a nice TP right there to bring me back into full profit for this morning. All right, let me just cancel my pending order. We're getting a little too close to the sessions down here.
Order canceled.
Next entry is going to happen. And if you're looking to take the entry, it's going to be at the 50 mark right here. The only problem is that you're like right at the sessions, guys. So your TP is going to have to push past the sessions, which obviously is a big red flag. So if you're going to take the entry right here, you got to make sure you get out at proper entry, at proper exit point, right? You got to make sure that if you do have a trailing stop, that it actually executes, because whenever price gets closer to the sessions down here, you might get some manipulation. Price might not even push past it. Otherwise, there's just no entries here right now. Yeah, there's just nothing to take. There's not even any V1 variations or anything like that. All right, entry is still right here at the 450 mark. And if you're looking to take that market flow V2, it looks like price is just going to consolidate down here a little bit. The thing that you want to be careful for is the breakout. Breakout's going to happen after this, right? Typically, after some consolidation, price will typically come out of this area, fake out, and come back up. I think that's what's going to happen here. Personally, I think ideally, this is what's going to happen. Let me take this off. So I think price will consolidate here for a little bit. Here, I'll just mark it up from over here. So I think price will consolidate here for a bit. It'll fake out to the bottom and then swing back up. Because the actual range is still up here. It's in this middle area. Yeah, Jason said, I think I wanted to go back to the day open. Yeah, same here. Ideally, I think that's what's going to happen. So I think price here is going to, it's going to consolidate here for a little bit, fake out down here, come right back to open. That's kind of what I'm expecting here. So the 10 minutes still hasn't crossed over yet. 5 minutes crossed over. 10 minutes still has not crossed over yet. Okay, so price came down and tested the sessions right there. We'll see if price actually stays below it or if it goes above it from here. All right, so price is coming back down below it even further. So you want to see how price action reacts to these sessions right here, guys. This is kind of the key thing. Price is currently breaking, closing past the session right here. There's one of two things that are going to happen at this point. Now that price is below the session, it's either going to break and retest and continue dropping, or it's going to fake out immediately, right? Break past it, close, fake out, retest this way, and continue back up to opening price. So pretty much look at this following candle right here. This following candle will kind of tell you, it'll give you a storyline of what's going to happen next. All right, let's see what we got. Nothing really. So it looks like the break and retest might be happening right here. We got 30 seconds left on the candle though, so there's a lot of time on this candle. So like I said, there's two things that may happen here. Price broke and closed below it. It may retest and come back lower. It may fake out, retest this way and come back up. So see if it holds here. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me which direction price goes. All right, so break and retest down below. Let's see if it continues pushing or if it ends up swinging back up. You just want to pay attention to what happens here, because this is going to be a key thing. Depending on what happens here is what's going to follow. If it drops any lower, let me check real quick. So if it drops any lower, there's still targets down here. We have liquidity sitting down below. So there's still areas for it to come down to. I want to see if the breakout would have worked out if it was a full 10-10 or 100-100 like we've been doing. So if the volatility continues to pick up higher, guys, might just shift back to the 100-100 TP stop loss for the breakout. Because a 50-50 is cool when the market's really slow. Right now, the market's not super slow. It's just very choppy, but it's not super slow. You can see right there, if you take the breakout for 100 points like we originally do, it would have been a full TP. So again, if you guys wanted to take the breakout here, it would have eventually played through. It just didn't meet the criteria. It didn't meet the criteria for the 50. Jason said where it was before that big spike this morning is going to it. And choose a day movement now. Same. Yeah, so pretty much filled that big candle right here from 520. Price came back, filled this big candle right here from 520. At this point, we'll see if it corrects back up or if it drops any lower. So looking at this right here, I drew a little zone there. This was like the low of that candle. It's looking like it might fake out and swing all the way back up. Yeah, it looks like we might get a swing back to the upside here. Barack said nice bounce off for 30. Never mind, I'm seeing my own things. Yeah, not quite. Ideally, the longer term direction here is still bullish. So the short term direction is starting to shift though. So the 1 minute over here is bearish, 5 minutes bearish, 10-minute here is starting to be bearish. You know, if this candle closes in the next 3 minutes, then it can confirm a bearish direction. But looking at this right here, it's just a little tricky. It's not even a little tricky. It's a lot of tricky. I feel like price wants to keep dropping, but it also wants to swing back up. And I would think that a lot of caution should be brought here. So basically, if you're looking to take a market flow V2, guys, entry would happen right here at the 410 mark. But I feel like price is a bit overextended. But if you guys want to take this entry here, let me see. Looks like it might be dropping lower to the 400 mark. So price is coming down to retest all of this liquidity down here. There we go. Pretty much price knocked out all that liquidity. The market flow V2 here didn't fill. So it never came up here to the 410 mark. This right here pushed up. If you want to take an MPS entry, MPS would happen right here at the 400 mark. So price retraced up, MPS would have happened right there. It is just, let's see. All right, now price is down here. So like I said earlier, guys, from the sessions, see how price here broke below the sessions and it didn't come back up right away? This is where you can kind of determine where price is going to go next. Same with this here. So again, price is now below at this sessions. Right, we had all the liquidity right there got hit. So pretty much all levels of liquidity right here. If you took any of these levels, I wouldn't have taken it myself personally because price is too far down. I think it's overextended at this point right here. But basically, you know, all of these points right here, like I think this is just too overextended for sure. but these levels down here, price is currently now at the session. So I wouldn't necessarily, well, I mean, we can use this as a confluence. So we can identify to see how price reacts to the sessions. For me personally, I like when price breaks past it, breaks and closes past it, not necessarily just reject, because what might happen here is price might just keep rejecting off this point, right? There's no entries here yet. None of the market flow V2s have been filling because price doesn't get past the, the pivot over here. Then we got news coming up right here at 7:10. It's low impact economic optimism, but it's still news. So thanks, CJ, for the heads up right there. So you guys can see here that it's reacting to the sessions, right? We have this right here. This is a V1 variation. So this could be a possible shoot back to the upside. I mean, I wouldn't take this because, like I said, I don't take trades that are going against the trend. The trend here is obviously bearish right now. So it's bearish for the 1 minute, bearish for the 5 minute, and bearish for the 10 minute. So this is a V1 variation pattern, but I personally wouldn't take it, at least not yet. I would take a V1 variation pattern from the top side. So not necessarily from down here, but if price comes back up and then I get a V1 variation up here and comes back down, then I would take the sell. Because I try to stick in the direction of the trend, of course. As you guys know, that's kind of how I trade for the most part. I don't counter trend very much. I counter trend when there's a ranging market. So if the market's going sideways and it's just consolidating, then I'm okay with counter trend trading in the overall direction of market. So if price here started to just consolidate and go sideways, then I would be okay with taking buys because the overall trend here is still bullish, right? The 1 hour, 4 hour daily is still bullish. The shorter time frames right here are currently bearish, but we don't know how long this will hold for, right? This can easily just shift back up. So I know before I didn't really use, well, I mean, way before I used to use a top-down analysis, I used to use these 6 charts very often to identify direction of price. Lately, we haven't been using that because it's not really necessary for the breakout. However, for these scalps here, I mean, it's good to use as many tools as possible, of course, just to have a better idea of like where price is going, so that even if you do make a mistake entering a trade, you can still, there's a chance that you can get lucky and price will probably just continue pushing in your direction. So looking at this right here, looks like we're starting to get some consolidation. Looks like price is probably going to consolidate right here. So like I said earlier, if price doesn't actually break and close past the sessions right here, just tested it, it could very well just go into consolidation. When it breaks past it, that's usually where it's key. Like for example, over here, see how this big green candle broke past the sessions and the next candle continued pushing up higher? Then it just pushed up from there. Same with this over here. When price broke below, so it didn't actually break past it. It tested it right here. But if it's ever a clean break, usually it'll continue following. But yeah, it looks like price here is just going to go sideways, which is fine. I mean, it's past 7 o'clock, so usually this is what happens after 7 o'clock. But I'm still going to continue looking for possible opportunities here. Let's see, Barack said from the momentum indicator settings, is it possible to enable more than one momentum indication in the same direction? No, it only goes opposite. That's the whole point of the momentum. So like momentum can only go one direction or the other, right? You can't have momentum pushing in both directions, right? That's not possible. I mean, just like with regard to physics, it's not possible, right? If you put it into like what momentum actually means. Like you can't have two trains pushing, but you can't have the same train going forward and backward at the same time, right? It's got to go one direction or the other. So the way that you want to identify momentum is like treat it like a train, right? The train's currently coming down right now. So momentum's coming down. We have a sell momentum. You can't have a train that's where it's a sell momentum, but it's like pushing up super hard. That's why it shifts. So like if you just look at it as a train, see momentum pushes up, then it starts to slow down, then the train goes opposite, then it starts to slow down, train goes the opposite here. It's basically how a train normally moves. If you've ever seen a train in person, I'm not sure if there's trains where you're at, Brock, but here in the US, trains are a big thing. If you ever get stopped at a train railroad crossing, you'll see a train sometimes. It'll go direction, and then you'll be waiting for it to finish, and then it just ends up starting to reverse because the momentum pulls the other way. So yeah, the momentum indicator can only go in one direction. So sell signal here goes in one direction, and then it shifts. That's why it goes from bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, etc. But you can't get like too bearish. You can't be like, oh, momentum's bearish, and then it's also still bearish, and then it just repeats itself. Because if that was the case, then it would be super confusing. It can only go one direction at a time. Let's see, Brock is asking why I'm asking. We are on a bearish momentum signal. Seems that it has to print a bullish before printing another bearish signal. Yeah, exactly. That's how it should be. Because so if we were to get a bearish signal here, that would just mean a retracement, right? Because the momentum in the trend is bearish right now. So if we do get a buy signal, it's going to be a retracement, and then you get another sell signal, and it continues down lower. So yeah, it's the whole point of the momentum. That's why you tie momentum with trend. That's why for me, I consider myself a momentum trend trader because I look for the trend and I look for momentum. I look for the retracement and I look for the continuation. That's why, like when we trade something like MPS, or if we trade a market flow V2, if we get a buy signal here, we're supposed to wait, right? We wait for the next sell signal to come up because we're looking for this pattern to come up, right? It's like sell signal, buy signal, sell signal, buy signal, sell signal, etc. And that's how you get the flow of market. When you trade in the direction of the trend, you're looking for that there. See? So the conditions right now are actually pretty good for market flow V2. The only problem here is that we're not getting price retracing far enough for entry. Okay, so we have a reversal pattern right here. We had price breaking close past the sessions, and then this candle immediately pushed up. So with this said right here, this might be the initial movement back to the upside. But we'll see. I mean, this is a V1 variation pattern. Like I said, I don't typically like to trade V1 variation patterns that are against the trend. So this might be the start for it to climb right back up. But since I don't trade reversal patterns, it's not something that I necessarily would be looking to take here. I would need to have some sort of confirmation. So instead of me getting in from down here, I would look for price to come up, and then my entry would happen somewhere down the middle. And this is why I don't go against the trend, right? Because price typically follows the trend. So looking at this here, I mean, there's no entries here at all. I would take sells, but there's just no entries here. Looking at the 1 hour, the 1 hour is starting to, well, it's pretty far off. It's not ready to shift yet, but there's the 1 hour right there. There's a 4 hour right there. And there's the daily. It's just price is so overextended from, the past couple days that like there's too much going on right now. All right, here is the clean chart. Let's see what we got over here. Bubbles right here. All right, price is currently at the 350 zone. Yeah, so price, this is a fake out pattern right here. Price broke and closed below the 350, and then it shot right back up right here with this green candle. This might be the initial push back to the upside. Or not really a push up to the upside, but this might, I think this is probably where the range is going to happen now. I think price is going to range within this area. You guys can see the same pattern right there. Price broke and closed past the whole number, and it shot back up. Same thing happened right here. Price broke above this whole number, came right back down right there. This over here wasn't a full close, so it didn't qualify, but this over here is the pattern that we're basically looking at. You're just looking for the initial break and fake out. Like it has to happen immediately. So this here might just range within this middle area here at this point. So what I would personally look for myself is I would look for a V1 variation right here. I'd look for price to maybe come up a little bit, give me that reversal pattern, and then come back down. I need to get a buy signal though. So we need a buy signal here in order for us to make that happen. So I can't say V1 variations until we have the retracement confirmation. All right, we got that pending buy signal there. I want this buy signal here to close. Once this buy signal closes, we can start looking for some possible sells because we're looking for that retracement. Now that we have the retracement here starting to set up, so I'm looking for this here to close with the buy signal, look for it to push up, give me a V1 variation and come back down, right? Like an M pattern. But I need this buy signal here to close. If the buy signal doesn't close, then it's not ready yet. All right, need that buy signal to close. Got a few seconds. If it doesn't close on this one, maybe the next one. All right, perfect. So the buy signal there did close. This is going to be a little bit of an issue though. So if we get a V1 variation right here, it's going to be too close to the session. So I actually want price to climb up a little bit higher. It's just way too close right here. All right, that's fine. Let's push it higher. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to get closer to this upper range right here, right? I want it to get closer to the upper range, maybe even bounce off the range, give me a V1 variation pattern, and then I'll take this right back down. So I want it to retrace up a little higher. I want it to give me some space. I need some breathing room right here. Nice. CJ over here identified the high-low momentum scalp. Nice work, CJ. I didn't even see that, but yeah, it came up perfect. So we had a lower low right here, and this works out perfect in a sideways market. We had a lower low right here. This buy signal, broken close past pivots 1 and 2, and that's a recipe for a high-low momentum scalp. Nice work, CJ. Yeah, solid work on identifying that. For me personally, I mean, I wouldn't take the trade because it just, like I said, I don't like trading against a trend. If we had a high level momentum scalp to the downside, then I would have been okay with it, right? So if I saw this push up about that higher high right here, and it came back down, perfect. I would have taken that high level momentum scalp right back to the downside. Right now, the overall direction is still bearish with regard to the shorter time frames, 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10 minute here. I think price may just sit around this area for a while. It's past 7 o'clock, so this is about normal for the the market structure that happens after 7 o'clock. This is why typically I always look for my entries before 7, because once 7 o'clock hits, we just get this flat market. So what I'm starting to notice right here, and this is going to be something that we're going to probably use to our advantage as we progress with the market. I should take notes on the market, like how market is currently moving at the moment. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to pull up my notes. And looking at this right here, I'm just going to try to identify where the market starts to move. It's around like 643. So today is 11/12. Market range 630, 643. Direction 643. Let's see, 643 until about 7 o'clock. 7:03. I'm just gonna take note of like how the market's moving because like I said, typically I'll trade. Well, actually, it's perfect. So this meets with my criteria. So like usually I trade between 640 and 7 o'clock, right? That's usually where I try to get my scalps in. And that's kind of where the direction's happening. So like from the data that we pulled and what we've been doing for like the past, I guess, past year now, is my entries and my scalps typically come between 640 and 7 o'clock. And that this works out perfect. But looking at this here, I mean, this is kind of where the movement happens. You can see the breakout, well, not the breakout, but the opening movement is like very, very choppy. It's not good for the breakout, right? We typically don't like market to move like that for the breakout. What I got to do is I got to do a little more testing to see if we should adjust back to the 100 TP stop loss because the 50-50 might be a little too close for the chop, right? Because price here chop. So for the breakout this morning, see if you took the buy for 50 points, that would have been fine. Right? You took the buy for 50 points, fine. But if you took the sell over here for 100 points, I mean, it would have taken a little longer, but eventually it still would have hit. So I'll have to pay attention to how the market's currently moving. Let me check what the ATR is right now. For the no, the ATR is not really that good to 7 days. Yeah, the ATR is still, it's not gonna give me the direction of like what I actually need. I was trying to see like what the average range was for like the past couple of days, but I don't want to know the range for the entire day. I just want to know the average range for open. But we'll check play by ear. That's why I'm making small adjustments to the breakout because the criteria now is okay, but it's not great. I'm not trying to eat any more losses. I'd rather just have less trades and more wins, of course. Daniel, so don't know if you ever watch trades by Matt. He only trades after 6:45. Yeah, no, I agree because a lot of people don't like the chop in the morning. The chop in the morning isn't always there though, so that's why I personally don't really mind it that much. It's just the chop in the morning has been happening last week and basically like around the election time. So like last week there was a lot of chop off for the breakout. The chop was beneficial and it went both ways for us, right? Like last week's breakout, we had one net loss, I believe. So the chop did work in our favor, but it also didn't. I just wish price would move more directional because that's kind of what happened over here, right? Like looking at the movement here between 630. So basically 630 and like basically the first 10 minutes of market open, the chop here was just super, super crazy, right? It's just straight chop. And the chop is good in some instances because it'll spike in your direction for the breakout. But in a lot of instances, you don't really want that. You want price to actually move directional immediately on open. Like late summer, it was moving like that. Like we'd have our breakout hit and then it was perfect, right? We were even going for 100 points. But lately, it's just kind of been going back and forth, which it's the problem with the market is you can't really time the market. You know, a lot of people like to time the market and have something very specific for like certain days, certain weeks, but it doesn't always work that way. Each week is like slightly different, and that's why I have to make smaller adjustments to just maybe minimize the losses specifically for the breakouts. So that's why I added a confluence. Let me see if I have the stats here. Yeah, so I was testing this last night. Like literally, I didn't sleep at all last night because I was like testing this. So like our initial win-loss ratio was like 65%, I believe, for 2 years of data. I figured out a way how to pull up more data on the 1 minute. So this is just all the stats for that criteria that I mentioned. So basically right here, and then I'm skipping the big candles. So if I don't skip the big candles, because I noticed like during the summer we had a lot of big candles here, and they were all losses, of course. So if we didn't skip the big candles, then we would have a 65.6% win rate. You'll see over here, like for every month, there'll be a lot less trades. Like for October here, we had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We had about 9 trades for the whole month of October. And all the losses came from these huge candles that happened at the 629 candle. So in order to improve that, I just took those out. So the stats over here from August 7th up until November, basically summer up until today, it was basically a 65.6% win rate. It was a lot less trades, but also a lot less losses. 19 wins, 10 losses, total trades of 29 trades, win-loss ratio of 65.6. Over here, I took out the big candle. So basically, whenever there's a big candle at 629, instead of flipping it opposite, I would just not take the entry. And the win-loss ratio over here, we had a little less trades, but the win-loss ratio did go up. It was a total of 18 wins, 6 losses. This is from June up until November. This is a pretty good sample right here. It's about, say, June, July, August, September, October, November. So 6 months of data right here from summer up until today. It was 18 wins, 6 losses, only 24 trades for that whole period, but 75% win ratio, profit of 600. So basically from June up until from June, if I took the trades with a new criteria from June up until now, I'm just creating new models. Basically, I take 6 contracts times 5 times 600, profit of 18,000. It's not a lot, but this is how much I would be making in the personal account between that period till now. And of course, you can scale from there. So obviously, at this point, I would be scaling to bigger contract sizes. Instead of risking X amount, I'd be risking a lot more. I'd probably be moving up until like maybe like 10 contracts. And then I'd be up to like 30,000. So it's all about scaling, finding the proper model, especially for the hedge accounts, because my main goal with the hedge accounts is to yield profit every month. It's not necessarily make a crazy amount of profit, but to yield profit every month for my account and then also for the client accounts, of course. So we got price over here now below the sessions, guys. I'm going to be looking for some possible opportunities for entry. Let's see if there's anything lower down here for price to reach. There's more liquidity sitting down here. So what I'd be looking for here next is I'd look for price to retrace up and then possibly come back down. Otherwise, the next opportunity for entry here would be for market flow, which would be at it's pretty high up. It's at the 40 mark. It's because the volatility is a little lower. I guess it could be right here at the 30. See, we got some team profits here from Jamie. Jamie locked in 2,580 on her first account and 1,330 on her second account here. Nice work, Jamie. Solid profit. Looks like you took the liquidity this morning. Yeah, CJ said, I wish price would move away from this session. I know it's well, price is finally away from it, but now it's kind of just sitting here. Okay, so I'm looking for like what opportunities we have here. There's not really too many, honestly. There's just not very many. There's a high-low scalp that came up right here. Wasn't super clean, but yeah, it was a high-low scalp right there. It's because the volatility is so low. The ATR is currently at 16 right now. We typically don't take any trades if it goes below 15, so it's getting really close to that point. Yeah, if you're looking for entry here, it'd be right here at the 330 mark. And we just have market flow V2 coming up right here. There's nothing else really to take. I was hoping there'd be a V1 variation coming up soon, but not looking like it at all. Yeah, the volatility right now is just way, way too low. We got price retracing up right here. If you guys are looking to take that market flow V2, again, entry is going to be right here at the 330 mark. There's a pending buy signal there, so I'm not really looking to take it, of course. Whenever we get the pending buy signal like that, I'd rather look for a V1 variation, right? So if you want to take the market flow V2, I mean, you guys can take it. I'm not taking it because, I mean, I typically don't take it when the buy signal comes up because if it does close, you're supposed to get out of the position because there's a possibility of it reversing on you. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to swing up a little bit, provide a V1 variation up here, basically a double body or double wick rejection, and then I'll look for it to come back down. But I do need this buy signal here to close. If the buy signal doesn't close, then there's no opportunity there. So during a sideways market like this, when price starts to go sideways, it moves directional and then it goes sideways. I try to look for reversals back into the direction of the trend. So basically continuation. Okay, so right here, perfect. If this candle here closes red, this is going to be a V1 variation pattern. So I'll be watching for this candle here to close. Candle has about 40 seconds left on it, so it's got a lot of time. So basically just waiting for this here. We got 20 seconds left on this candle. The candle's got to close like an obvious red. It can't be like maybe red. It's got to be for sure red. So I'm going to wait till the very, very last second before I think about entering. I'll be watching it, but we got about 5 seconds left on this candle. 4, 3, 2, and 1. There's a V1 variation right there. So V1 variation happened right there. And let's leave it as is.
Order submitted.
So now I just gotta watch it to make sure that the trailing stop works this time. Most of the time it does work. The only time it has issues is when it's too volatile. Right now, I don't think the market's all that volatile. It's for the most part kind of flat actually. ATR is currently at 15 right now, so the volatility is very, very low for the most part. Yeah, price coming down a little bit. This is probably going to linger for a bit. The good thing is that I do have my trailing stop set in place. So if and when it does come down a little further, trailing stop should get moved in profit to 10 points, which is going to be somewhere around here. So it's got to let that be. And I will take a look at the higher, well, not really higher time frames, but pretty much all the time frames here. So the 1 minute's bearish, 5 minutes bearish, 10 minute is also bearish. 1 hour here is kind of just sitting in the middle. Obviously, the higher time frames over here are still pretty bullish. Looking over here at the clean chart, price is currently at the 350 mark. So I guess we'll see how price reacts to this here. SR chart, see if there's any SR zones down here. There is a support level right there. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for a price to come right back down. I'm looking for, it's currently above the 350 price. I'm looking for it to close right back below it. So this is going to be a fake out right back below it, and then possibly a continuation back to the downside. So we got price closing above it. If this candle here closes red below the 350 price, then this is going to signify a possible reversal pattern, another reversal pattern, and then possibly come down lower. But the volatility right now is just really, really low. It's currently at 17. It's between 15 and 17 at the moment. So we'll see how this candle here ends up moving, but it looks like we're going to have a bit of some consolidation here for a moment. Yeah, it looks like price here is going to consolidate for a bit. So my position is still active right there. It actually rejected directly off the sessions. Not really a fan of this type of market. Like I said, I don't like trading in a sideways market like this. I mean, market wasn't moving sideways the entire session, but since 7 o'clock, it's pretty much been going sideways for the most part. Um, we had the directional push between 640 and 7, and then now it's pretty much kind of flattened out. So price is pushing back down right there. The good thing is that we do have the sell signal right there. It did the fake out that we were looking for. Should be moving my stop loss and profit pretty soon. There we go. Stop loss moved in profit, and I'm out.
Order filled.
All right, order filled. I'm out of the position. I wasn't expecting to get the full TP. I was hoping for the full TP. That would have been nice, but yeah, unfortunately, no full TP on that right there because of the there's just no direction. There's no direction. There's no volatility. Price is pretty much pretty slow. Yeah, Barack said thank you. He's out. Yeah. There's just not really much here to work with. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send your questions into the chat. I'm closing out today with profit. So today was a pretty decent day. It wasn't super great, but it was decent. There was no breakout for the day that I took. I didn't meet my criteria. So as you guys continue to get on this live session, what I'd highly recommend is if you guys haven't, just go to the website. If you guys haven't signed up for the free intro course, I mean, it's free. You have nothing to lose, really. It's just so that you guys understand what we're doing here. Because if you guys don't understand what we're doing, then it's kind of pointless unless you guys just want to listen to my analysis, right? Because there's a lot of entries that are coming up. Today, there weren't very many entries, but I mean, yesterday was a good example of like the entries that came up, right? So like yesterday, we made pretty good profit and we took quite a bit of entries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 entries for scalps. And then we had a breakout that it didn't hit. Today we took about 2 entries, basically a V1 variation, or we took 3 entries, a V1, CV, and then another V1 variation right here that we took as well. So if you guys haven't, I mean, just go to the website, click on unlock your free access right here. This is what the course looks like. It pretty much explains all my strategies. That way you guys can follow along and know what to look for, right? Because it doesn't hurt to know what I'm doing, especially if you're sitting on the live session with me for like an hour. Because the thing is, the more that you understand and the more that you're familiar with, the easier you can spot these entries. Like the same with CJ earlier, like CJ identified this high level momentum scalp, right? Not too many people look for that. I think CJ is probably one of the very few people who still looks for that entry. And it's a good entry. I mean, if you can catch it when it comes up, it usually plays out pretty nice. Again, there's like different types of market conditions here. When price is going sideways, like for example, price was going sideways over here earlier in the session. This is why I took the V1 variation, right? So looking at that there, if you look over here at the criteria, you look at module 4, it has directional strategies, sideways strategies, and breakout strategies. For module 5, of course, the directional moves, which we haven't really been able to catch because of the market conditions. Sideways strategies, these are like the main ones that have been coming up lately because because that's just the type of market that we're currently in. I mean, it's a sideways market, so unfortunately, we have to apply sideways strategies. So everything there is pretty much covered, but we'll keep on keeping on. I mean, honestly, there's nothing we can really do here. We'll try to like make as much profit as we can day by day, but it's going to be a little difficult, of course. So here, let me take a screenshot of my profits so far. I was hoping I'd get a full TP so I can bring my profits back up, but I'll take the partial here, of course. You can't go broke taking profit. Like, just keep that in mind, guys. You know, it's an old saying, but a lot of people don't really follow it. Some people just get greedy, which is okay, man. You know, like people get greedy sometimes, but here, let me just copy this real quick so that you guys know what trade was taken. For a partial. All right. Yeah, Barack said, I wish I held. I know, me too. But like I said, it is what it is. The market volatility is too low. And I mean, these are the 1 minute candles. It took about how many long did it take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It took about 9 minutes for the scalp to hit. The scalp should have hit right away. But yeah, no, same here, Barack. Barack said was hoping it'd take out the low. That was what I was hoping for too, Barack. So like when we took that V1 variation right there, I was like, okay, I'm hoping that this comes down and takes out that low, right? Unfortunately, we got caught in the fake out right here, and then market just got super flat. See, if we didn't have this retracement right here, I think we'd be perfectly fine, right? This sell signal came up, and then it would have just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. But because this green candle here had a retrace, it it just had to come down like that. But it's okay. I'm fine with like partial profits, especially on a day like this, of course. Let's see, Jason's at his Dropbox, even dumping more. Let's check real quick. So let's see. It looks like the whole market is red right now. Like literally everything here is red. We got the Dow, it's red, it's down 147 points. S&P is down 10 points. Nasdaq's down 4 points. Russell 2K is down 14 points. VIX is down less than a point. Um, let's see what update we got here. Dollar rises against major currencies. That's interesting because it's probably going to come down lower. Home Depot post quarterly beat. The updates of Powell. So Powell says, or not Powell, former Fed policymaker Messer sees fewer rates cuts next year after Trump's victory. Yeah, and I agree with that as well. So I'm expecting less cuts. I think this month's cut is probably going to be the last cut we see in a very long time. Is Trump's president now. Dollar is going to get weaker. Interest rates are going to go up. I mean, it's a crazy time. It's a crazy time, but it's going to cause volatility in the market, which is beneficial for us. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Nice. Kevin said he got back in with a sell stop for the pivot scalp. Nice work, Kevin. So that's one thing too that you guys can do. If you don't want to get in right away for the pivot scalps, you can always just let it retrace and then put your sell stop, just hang out right there, and then it'll fill it as it comes back down. It's a pretty good amount. Yeah, Jason said that's why I say it's dumping. Yeah. Was the Dropbox data just released? I didn't see it on here, but I'm assuming it just got released right now. Usually it comes up right here, but I don't know, causing volatility in the market. Let's see. Jason's asking, do you think it will turn and go back up? Um, Probably not right now. Here, let's see. Let's see if there's any more liquidity sitting below. There's a lot of liquidity right here. So like, I mean, this might not even come back up today. There's a lot of liquidity just hanging out down here. Like this one, there's a lot of liquidity right here. It's just hanging out. So there's two things that may happen here. Here, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so just keep this in mind, guys. There's a ton of liquidity sitting right here that hasn't been triggered. Basically, since Trump became president, price has been rallying to the upside like crazy, right? So there's a ton of liquidity sitting right here. There's a couple of things that may happen at this point, right? Price will either come down to well, it's right now, it's currently at the sessions. So that's something to look out for. Price is currently at the sessions. And these are basically barriers, right? These are barriers that price has to pass. So like, for example, over here, price had trouble getting past the area right here, right? So see if I can add this to the toolbar. I can't. How do I make this a favorite? There we go. Okay, so looking at this right here, price had trouble getting past this session, right? But once it got past the session, it pushed down to the next session. So these are all barriers. Price going to come down, maybe test the session right here, and then maybe correct back up back to open. But there's two different things that can happen here, Jason. Like one thing is that price may come down, bounce off the session and retrace back up, or reverse back up. Or what might happen is price might do the same thing it's been doing. So you can see over here, price kind of, when it gets to the sessions, it usually just sits there for a little bit. So it sits there for a little bit and then it finally comes down. Sits here for a little bit and then it finally comes down. When it gets to this point, it's either going to sit here for a little bit and come back down further to pretty much wipe out all the liquidity, or it's going to sit here for a little bit and then reverse from here, or it might come down a little bit and then sit here for a little bit and then reverse back up, right? So you can't really tell if price is going to come down lower or reverse yet until you see how price reacts to these sessions here. Thing is, there's still like a session below, so there's still area for it to drop lower. I think I screenshotted this, right? Let me screenshot this again real quick. Yeah, what's this one? But yeah, so like I said, price is currently at the sessions right here. What you want to see, and if you want to keep looking for that reversal, look for price to break past the sessions above. So like basically where price is currently at right now, Jason, if you're looking for this to swing back up, look for it to swing back up from here and above the sessions. I think if price ever retraces back and closes above the sessions and climbs up higher from there, I think that's where the reversal is going to happen. But until then, I think price is going to keep dropping. The ATR is extremely low right now, so price might just stay flat. I'm surprised it's this low right now. ATR is currently 13. That's super, super low compared to what we're used to. So typically, if it's below 15 ATR, we don't even take any trades because the ATR is so low. But yeah, I mean, looking at the market here, not really seeing too much. Today's a green day for me, so pretty solid. Did not take the breakout today, but I did make profit on my Apex accounts with these scalps. So pretty solid. I think I like this this style of live session. If you guys don't like this style of live session and you guys are part of the Zoom, just let me know. You know, if you think this is too much for you and you just don't like that we're looking at too much stuff at once, feel free to chime in. But I think majority of you guys here do like this, where we're looking at pretty much all the scalps that are coming through, and I'm actually taking these scalps as I see them appear. I think it keeps us more engaged. Like right now, it's currently 7:52. Usually, if we're not looking for all these scalps and we're not engaged in the market like we currently are right now, we would typically want to call this session off around 7:30, right? We wouldn't even be on for this long because we just get bored. There's just nothing to look at. Today was a little boring compared to yesterday. So yesterday was pretty good. If you guys missed the session yesterday, probably go back and review that because yesterday was actually a really good session. We had a lot of entries come up, a lot of opportunities here. And there was just a lot of opportunities for us to take. For us today, there was a couple opportunities here, but they weren't like our normal scalping entries, right? Like we had V1 variation, CB pattern. There was no, like the problem here is that there was no momentum signals that came up within like, 30 minutes. It took so long for this here to actually come down. But once it finally did come down, we had some opportunities down here, of course. We had a pivot scalp that came up right here, was right at the sessions though. Price came up for the retracement. Another sell signal right here came up at the sessions, and then so on. So right now we currently have a buy signal here. Again, if you guys are looking for that reversal, look for price to break above this session right here, retrace and push up higher from there. That's going to be the next opportunity. But again, like I said over here, this is kind of where we're at. I don't think much is going to happen here, guys. Honestly, I think price is probably going to consolidate here for a little bit. It's probably going to stay flat until about 9 o'clock. Around 9 o'clock, you might get some movement, but we might not get any movement. Price might just stay where it's at 9 o'clock and just stay there. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would be surprised if price comes down and knocks out this liquidity today. I'd be pretty surprised because the thing is, price has dropped so far already. If you measure it from opening price to here, it's down like 200 points. And the thing with this is that the Dow usually doesn't drop that much, right? If you look at the, let's see the stats right now for CNUC. I mean, it's currently down 136 points overall, but for the morning, we haven't really had we haven't really seen. Yeah, we haven't really had a retracement back up yet. So I think what might happen here is price might just stay down the middle. I don't know if price will either come back to opening price, and I don't think price will either come back to or come down even lower to the liquidity down here. I think price might just stay flat. We'll have to see. So I think in about 2 hours, you'll see if price actually moves. I think the odds of it correcting back up are more likely than not, though. I think price will likely correct back up. It might not even push up to the opening price. It might just push up here, and then we might just get a big range here for the rest of the day. There's just nothing else going on in the market for today to cause that push. And we got the Fed speaking pretty much all day, so the market's a little flat. The news for today is not really high impact, it's all low impact. Tomorrow, though, so tomorrow I'm seeing price getting pushed around a lot more. So tomorrow morning we have CPI, we have inflation rate, we have core inflation rate, we have Redbook, basically a bunch of inflation news. So we have a bunch of inflation news tomorrow on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we have PPI, some more inflation news, producer price index, and then jobs data. So tomorrow we might hit that liquidity down below if price ends up dropping that far, but we are going to have a lot more liquidity tomorrow and the following day and Friday. So basically the rest of the week, we have a lot of volatility, and that's going to be more beneficial for our scalps, of course. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out. Hopefully you guys are liking this style of live session. I know we haven't traded like this in a while. I've been a lot more cautious and careful, but it's going to change things up. I'll be careful with the breakout, but then I'll be more risky with the scalps here because I'll be trading this with my Apex only. So if you guys are new here and you guys haven't already checked out the website, check out the website. It's kodikaitrades.com. Click on unlock your free access right here. This will give you pretty much every strategy I explained today and every strategy I've covered for the last 8 years on these live sessions. Just go down here, look down, and learn the strategies, because every day we're going to be looking at these entries on the live sessions and they're going to come up pretty quick. So as long as you are familiar with the strategies or have an idea of like what we're looking at, you guys can just hop into the entries with us and make profit with everyone here. So yeah, guys, a lot of people have been asking about me mentoring. So, I do like to mentor, and I just right now I was just really busy with the hedge fund. But over the next couple, I'll probably start mentoring again soon on a weekly basis. So we'll do group mentoring sessions. I just like mentoring because it keeps me in tune with the market. The main thing that I typically tell people is that you need a lot of screen time. A lot of people think that you need the perfect strategy or you need perfect risk management, but really you just need a lot of screen time. If you're on the screen all the time, you'll be able to see a lot of things that a lot of other people can't see, right? Like for example, I came up with these indicators because I was looking at the charts pretty much like 24/7 every day. These indicators just make things a lot easier. Obviously, you can see here, I can still mark up stuff without the indicators. Like I can still see where things are happening and I can identify stuff. The indicators just make things a lot easier. So with me mentoring, it's going to give me more screen time or more forced screen time actually, where I have to actually look at the charts and not just kind of be off the charts during my free time. So I will start mentoring again soon, guys. I know a lot of you guys want to start mentoring or you want me to start mentoring before the holidays. So maybe we'll kick that off, probably not next week, but maybe the week after. So if you guys want access to the indicators or any of that stuff, just go to the website again. You can just start off with the free access and understand how all the strategies work and the indicators work. And then from there, we'll have our weekly mentoring sessions to review stuff. And I'll probably have an actual plan moving forward. So for the mentoring sessions, I think we're just going to have some sort of subject, like a specific subject that we'll cover for each session. Instead of me just hopping on and asking questions, I'm just going to go over each specific strategy each session. We'll just have a timeline. So if there's something specific that you guys want to see, you guys can ask. But for the most part, we'll just go over a timeline so that people can watch these mentoring sessions in order, so that if they do miss the mentoring session, you guys can see, okay, we're covering like module 1, module 2, module 3, etc. So that it's easier to follow along with. So all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, there's nothing else going on with the market here. As I said earlier, price is probably going to consolidate within this middle area. And that's exactly what's happening here. The volatility is very low. ATR is below 15 right now. There's just no need to force anything here. Just call it a day. Come back tomorrow fresh, and we'll hit this market again on market open tomorrow. So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, we will pick back up for tomorrow's live.